Well, here we are again, right on Facebook Live. You know, the show must go on. Now, don't panic, because I've been getting messages saying, oh, why have we been taken off radio? No. Temporarily, while the Euro 2020 is on, we will be here on Facebook Live, because there are still some die-hard opinionators who cannot wait till the football is over. So in any case, the show must go on. And if the show must go on, then I'll tell you that until the Lions have their own historians, the tales of hunting will always glorify the hunter. And you know, I will say that again, that until the Lions have their own historians, the tales of hunting would always glorify the hunter. You know what I really miss is my roll call. For those of you who follow the show on radio and I have been on Facebook, I really miss my roll call. Udote Ni Udote, Ajimai Joseph in Community 9, Eugenia Sintimedi, and all those will be by now sending their names and making sure that they are present on the show. And I hope somehow you are all, most of you have tuned into Facebook Live to join the show, which is really good. Well, Malik in Adenta says, I am streaming. So, hey, welcome Malik on board. Of course, Malik will be on board. I'm telling you a story about Malik. When the show started, right, Malik was in SHS. And at the time, I think the show was about 2 o'clock or 3 o'clock sometime on a Thursday. So he would finish school and rush home and tune in and make sure that he caught the show. And guess what? Now he's finished university and he's working and he's still tuning in. We must give Malik an award. But Malik, thanks for tuning in. And so what I really need is for you to get your comments. Send your comments in, because I'll be reading your comments as the show goes on, and then, answering some of the questions that you may put on your comments. The number will also come on the screen, and then when we get to that part, you can also call and add to or take some out. But today, you know what? I just want to make a real passionate appeal to the youth. I don't know what age to cut it off, but I want to make a real passionate appeal to the youth. And so, you must really listen. And definitely when we say youth, you are the guys on Facebook Live anyway. So you're the guys I am appealing to. And the topic today, folks, is insanity is the new normal. Insanity is the new normal. Maybe I should say insanity has become the new normal. And you must pay attention to it as I'm trying to reach you. You see, guys, life is not... It's not static. It will change by all means. Whatever happens, life will change. As my wife would say, life happens. Now, one of the cardinal rules about life is that when it happens, it must happen for the best and not the worst. When life happens, it must happen for the best and not the worst. So that the whole idea is that this generation, there's a cardinal duty on us that we leave the country in a better shape than we found it. There's a cardinal rule that as we have occupied this space, this country, this earth, this Ghana that we are in, we must and should leave it in a better shape than we found it. And then when we go, the same principle applies. I'm a traditionalist, so I will delve into a little bit of tradition and then we'll come back. You see, unfortunately, which is also part of the topic, unfortunately, everything tradition has been demonized. It is fetish, it is paganism. And so the more lettered we are, the further away we want to drive away from tradition. Now, you know something. For those of you who are a little bit close to tradition, you realize that everything is sort of done in threes. Everything is done in threes. And when I was growing up, I was also fascinated about it. What's all this big deal about everything being in three? Well, you see, as custodians of the land, as a chief, any chief, or even any elder of the land, any rule you make, any law you take, any decision you arrive at, you must make sure that those unborn will benefit. You must make sure that those who are alive are okay with it. And you must make sure that one day when you depart, you will be able to account to your ancestors who were before you and look them in the face and say, Lord, what I played my part, or I build upon the good works that you left. So everything was done in threes. Even ago, simple knocking. You knock, ago, 3 times. But somehow, you know something, we decided that no, this 3-3 thing is not in line with anything that we know, because we've gone to school. And so let us throw it away. And that was the end, or the beginning of the end of sustainable living. That was the beginning of the end of sustainable living. And when the sustainable living was wiped away, that was the introduction of the new insanity, which we now consider as normal. So you see that once upon a time, when chiefs believed in threes, and they knew that, you know something, I was bequeathed this land, and one day I would also have to depart and leave this land for somebody else to also come and benefit. But now we don't do anything in threes. The only thing we do in threes is me, myself, and I. That's the only thing we do in threes. Me, myself, and I. Forget about those who are unborn. Forget about accounting to those who are departed. And even those who are living, it is very selective as to who those decisions or those laws would benefit. I mean, that's how pathetic we have gotten to. That we make laws that even people who are alive today, don't benefit from it. Now that is a cardinal rule or mistake that you, the youth, should never adopt. So here I'm going to tell you things which are not normal. Things which are not normal. You see, sometimes I look at the number of road deaths. And I have a friend, Francis Biney. You'd always scout the internet and send me the news of accidents that have happened. 12 dead, 20 dead, 60 dead, 60 dead. And you know something? It's normal. Folks, I'm here to tell you that it is not normal. Let me tell you why seat belts were put in the cars in UK and probably even in Europe at large. There was a bus of school kids going to France or something for an excursion, and the bus had an accident. And I think one of the girls in the car got seriously injured, not even dead, seriously injured. That was it. A law was passed that every bus now must have a seat belt. Just one person. So I'm saying that you can't live in a country where 23 died, 30 get burned, 60 perish, and nothing happens. We just wait for the next day another accident to happen. As we are leaving the country for you, do not consider this as normal. It is not normal. It is absolutely abnormal. It is absolutely abnormal. But as I said, we don't believe in the threes. So we are living for ourselves. Not even those, nothing. So do not follow our steps. Folks, last year, according to the records, over 100,000 teenage pregnancies. Over 100,000. And between, I think, 9 and 14, I've forgotten the number, but it's just too big. 100,000. unplanned births. But you know something? Oh, say normal. Isi debia. And Prewanyin saying isi debia. And so we consider it as normal. 100,000 teenage pregnancies. Guess what? You go to Sweden and it's zero. How can one country get zero? And we are here with 100,000 and still think it's normal. So business as usual. Let's go on. Next year, they'll bring the new statistics. As we are leaving the country for you, well, not today, hopefully not today, but this cannot be the manual that you're going to use to operate a country. Folks, once upon a time, somebody could leave Accra and in 4 hours, they're in Kumasi. Today, by the time you hit the Pokuase traffic, hit that traffic, you'll be lucky to get there in 6 hours. But you know something? It's normal. Oh, it's normal. As for Kumasi Road, there's traffic on it. And where there's no traffic, there are speed ramps on the highway. Speed ramps on the highway. The whole idea of a highway is for you to move from one city or one town to the other as safely and as quickly as possible. That's the whole idea of the highway. If you take Accra and you take Kumasi, it's like the two major economic giants in the country. So in the normalcy is to have a transportation system or a way in which you could leave Accra and go to Kumasi and come in the quickest possible time, go and do your business and come back. That is normal. It can't be that when you're going to go to Kumasi, it's like you're going to a pilgrimage. You can't just wake up and say, Miko Kumasi, but no, you have to plan. You will have to plan it just to go to Kumasi and come back. Let me tell you something. You see, when Kwame Nkrumah started the motorway, right about the same time, the English also started their motorway called the M1. Ours was the N1, ironically. And guess what? They were both about 20 kilometers. The same. From Brent Cross to Watford. Nkrumah also did Accra to Tema. Theirs was bitumen, ours was superior concrete. Then the English press was saying, oh, Nkrumah was wasteful, nobody needed the motorway. What was he doing? Well, he was chastised then. But in any way, both roads started the same time. Today, as we speak, the M1 is probably about 400 miles long, goes all the way to Manchester, to Nottingham. It just goes all the way to the northern part of England. And the motorway, well, we're lucky that the Americans gave us a grant, so we extended it to Malam. But the original motorway itself is riddled with potholes. But you know something? It is normal. Motorway there, we expect potholes on it. You expect that the light won't work. It's a 100-kilometer road, and you go there and there are cars traveling at 30 kilometers because somebody has got tricycle with rubbish in it. Somebody has a little scooter, all on the motorway because what? It is normal. And so we are leaving you all this insanity in the name of normal. And we have all sort of very comfortable. Very, very comfortable accepting it. And so you never see people rise up and demand and say, no way can this be a motorway. Under no circumstance can there be any hindrance between Accra and Kumasi, being that these are the two economic giants of the country where people will do business. But guess what, folks? It is normal. It is normal. Let me share one thing which is also not normal. And I hope I got the youth today. One thing which is not normal. You see, when you run for public office, the need should be modest in your approach, in your lifestyle. It's very, very paramount. Unless, of course, you yourself were a multi-millionaire before coming into public office, which everybody knows that, look, here's this guy, he's always been rich and now wants to come to public office to serve. Other than that, folks, you must live a very modest life because you are living off people's taxes. It is not normal to live off people's taxes as though you have arrived. In 2013, let me share this with you. In 2013, there was a rail minister in UK called Simon Burns. Simon Burns, 2013. Now, the transport department of the railway, there are two cars. One of them, according to the story, was a brand new Toyota Avensis, £25,000. Toyota Avensis. So Mr. Burns, when he finishes work, will let the driver drive him home in the Toyota Avensis. This caused such an uproar, such anger, such rage. Why? That he, the rail minister, he does not believe in the rail transportation that he's supplying the public. And so he's driving home in a Toyota Avensis. And I'm saying, Ghana, Toyota Avensis, Minister Crontram, the minister will actually feel insulted if you give him a Toyota Avensis. Even Deputy Minister Kra will not even think of sitting in the Toyota Avensis. But guess what? The UK public was enraged. Civil society, everybody. Simon Burns' excuse was that he had documents, secret documents that he was reading. And that's why he didn't want to board the train. Say, hey, oh boy, you can sit in first class in the train and read your documents. So if you're sitting in the Toyota Avensis, it means that you know that the trains are overcrowded and they are not fit for purpose. And therefore, we don't want you as a minister. Folks, so it is not normal that suddenly the clock ticks and it's 7th of January. And then all these student union bodies who found themselves in politics become rich overnight. And we see it and it's normal. And not only do they hide it, penny, get us off the road and they come and pass. Why? They're going to a funeral. Why? They're going to drop their children in school. The most ridiculous one I found some time, penny, the car just drove straight to a tap and then the driver was taking the yellow gallons out to come and fetch water. And I thought, come on, this must take the cake. Yes. Cleared us all off the road, drove straight to a tanker or a tap thing, and then was taking the yellow gallons out of the back of the pickup to fetch water. Folks, it is not normal. So this evening I am appealing to the youth that all these things that have surrounded you, and today even churches have become abnormal and we see it as normal. Churches every day jumping, shouting, never telling you that something, study hard, find a skill and get a job. No, pray for a job. Pray for a job. And so you find young people with no skill, not employable, but praying and fasting and praying and fasting. And so yes, I want to give you a job, but what can you do? Anything. Really? Can you do Excel? No. Can you operate the camera? No. Can you do the lighting? No. Can you do the sound? No. So what can you do? And I'm sure you've heard that many times. And they are praying and praying and praying. And I'm saying, if the man of God is not telling you that after you have finished praying, get yourself equipped. If you have a passion, then follow it. If not, then just find any skill so you can fit yourself in somewhere. Because it is not normal. So we have all adopted these ills, these mistakes. We have just adopted it. And we have done it over and over and over and over to the point that now it is normal. But my fear, which I don't know how it is, because as I stand here, I am asking you to write your own manual. Do not use this manual, a normal manual that we are giving you. Write your own manual. Yet you are not born with anything. You're only born with a fear of falling. Fear of falling, probably a reflex of gripping. Everything else, you are learning it from us. And all we are teaching you is insanity, which we term normal. So if you are not fortunate enough to read outside of the status quo, you will probably just come and repeat this manual that we are handing over to you, which is totally rubbish. We are handing over a manual to you which is totally rubbish. The manual we give to you, sector by sector, so that whatever it is today within healthcare, we should have gotten to a place where in every area there should be some healthcare post where everybody's name is on there, so the doctor knows you personally, that you're on the list, that you can call and say, it's me, Ansah Kwao. Oh yes, Ansah Kwao, come to me on Thursday. That's the healthcare we have to leave behind. We have to leave an education system where a child does not leave Kaswa and drive all the way to Dansoman and say, Miba school. Why? The state we leave you should be that when somebody lives in a particular area, about 80% of the social amenities they need should be found in the area. That is what we have to leave behind. We should leave behind more forest than we found. We should leave cleaner waters than we found. But it looks as if every sector by sector, division by division, everything, we are depleting it and leaving it in a worse state than it is in the name of normal. The country should be safer now than it ever was. But is it so? No. Children hungry for money, ready to do anything. Bikers, shooting rampantly just to steal. And you know something? Oh, say they're normal. Is he that? Oh, they're normal. Is he that? Folks, my dear youth, it is not normal. So find your own normal. Find your own normal and write a new manual. Write a new manual. So that when we finally bequeath this country to you, you could probably sit back and have a good laugh. That what did they do? How did they even arrive at this? But at the way things are going, folks, at the way things are going, you won't be able to have a laugh. You'll be lucky to have water to drink. You will be lucky to even have water to drink. So send your comments in and give me a call and contribute to the show so that I would read it. Let me see. I have some comments here. Let me start reading the comments here, okay? Richard Collins says, it's a great show. Richard, thanks. Richard is, ardent listener on radio and now following on Facebook Live. That's very good. KSM says, this is very profound. Thank you so much for tuning in. Listening from Nifa Edukrom, Joshua Otabil, and Sisi Kole. Our leaders have become too comfortable with the amount of monies and all the extras they are receiving from the poor people. Our people have made them arrogant, proud, visionless, and useless, to say the least. Why? That's why they don't care about the poor state of affairs in Ghana. And discipline has become normal in Ghana. Discipline now is the new norm. Now, the Medina, I know, is it the Medina, the minister, the Greater Accra minister went there and, you know, cleared the road and planted some palm trees there and everything. Now, I drove past there and the palm trees are sort of dead. You know, and I'm wondering, the MC or DC responsible for that area. So if you could not clear the traffic and the regional minister has done it for you, I mean, I don't know. Maybe horticulturists will tell us that maybe the trees will die before they blossom again. If that's the case, fine. But if not, then, you know, we are going to be very, very disappointed. Moxie Miles, the elderly, has become our best example. That is the example that has run down to the psyche of the youth. A newfound fond and love mentality. We are rapturing Ghana. God will not bother himself. God will not bother himself. Oh, God will not bother himself rapturing Ghana. And I got my brother KK watching. Belobes, thank you very much. Monica Achampon says, do we have anybody on the phone? I bet you could get me somebody on the... Come again. Thank you very much. So we have Bishop Samuel Mensah of Full Gospel International on the phone. I like Bishop because he always preaches... that's my opinion, or maybe that's my opinion is just as a very practical preacher, and I urge the youth to visit his church. Bishop, hello and welcome to the show. Hello, Bishop, if you can hear me. Hello, Bishop, if you can hear me. Okay, let's try again because I can't hear Bishop from here. Production is saying that Bishop is on, but I can't try him again. But if you just joined what I'm just saying, that insanity has become the new normal. And if we are not careful, we will leave this insanity normal to the next generation and go. But there must be a point where we break it. That the youth see that no, this is not normal. Hello, Bishop, good evening. I can't hear Bishop from here, I don't know.
Wow.
Okay. Hello, Bishop, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Oh, very good. I can hear you too. Please. Thank you so much. And if I may hear your opinion on this insanity that has become a new normal.
Well, thank you. Thank you very much, Nana. I think the situation we find ourselves in is that we think that government, whatever government does is towards for our favor. But naturally, we need that public education to be able to hold elected officers responsible. One of the basic things, in my opinion, we should understand that it is the responsibility of government to provide quality education, quality health, quality good drinking water, good roads, security, electricity, and even housing, and good roads. These are the basic things that any government should provide. And therefore, if we don't see these things and we are not enjoying them, then we must hold elected officers responsible. It is not a favor, but it is their right, it is our right to have these facilities. And the moment we start holding them responsible, I strongly believe they will begin to see that. And as the youth begins to think that it is a favor, and perhaps the reason why they think that's where it is that maybe they haven't been educated much. And a person like yours, and even that of church, begin to provide public education. That is the only way we can move our country and our religion forward. Our youth must be angry enough to change, must be enough to request for change, and they must be enough things we want to see. And therefore, it should not be accepted
Okay, that was Bishop Samuel Mensah. The line was crackling, but I think he raises a very fundamental point, which again we think is normal. That if the state provides you a road, it's normal. Like it's a favor. So we are looking at the favor as a normal. And so it's a normal. But no, it is an absolute right that the state should provide the roads. Somebody say, oh, well, the state can't do everything. Say, yes, we know the state can't do everything. But you see, if I digress a little bit and come, if we are to cost things in its normal terms, I think our budget will stretch a bit more. We have all had all this 6 classroom block. The amount of monies that we pay for that stable, it's just a stable, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, no design, no architecture, nothing, draftsman. And the monies that are paid for those things. You ask yourself, and mostly, I don't know of any 6 classroom block in any village where the chief will say you have to come and buy the land before you build the school. Mostly the lands are given for free. But the cost, 800,000, 700,000, really, for 6 classroom unit. And so you ask yourself, if indeed we paid the true cost of these things, maybe we could have built 3 instead of 1. Maybe we could have built 3 instead of 1. And so then, you don't sit back and think that, Oba be me favor. You're not doing me a favor. It is imperative that we equip the youth before we leave the country to them. Just like you would do a driver. Make sure that this guy can handle the car. This guy can stop in case of emergencies. This guy can negotiate, do this, do that. And then you hand over the car to them. But we don't seem to be equipping the youth. And yet, we are just ready to hand over all this country. And we're not even making it better for them. We are just completely destroying it. And then we hand it over to them and see where they go with it. It will be fun. Folks, it will be fun. They will be eating themselves alive. At this stage, they will be eating themselves alive. Can you imagine? The population, probably over 50 million, no fresh water or very limited fresh water. Thank God we have started this tree planting thing. I hope everybody gets on board to get more trees in the system, and those who are chopping down the trees will stop. But can you imagine? Depletion of your forest, depletion of water, and then on top of all that, depletion of your culture, your total existence, your being. And then you leave all these people's survival of the fittest. You don't want to come back and see it. Have I got anyone on the phone? Okay. So let me read some of the messages here. Ni Awili Bossman says, it's unfortunate, but I think the youth is not angry enough against the current leaders of the nation on all fronts, be it religion or political. See, Ni Bossman, that's one of the things where I'm saying that, you see, the youth were also not born to know. We are supposed to teach them. But I think I got to call a Dr. Riafe Akenten. And I'm glad Doctor's called, because Doctor is from the social psychology department, University of Ghana. He should be doing this show. Doctor, good evening.
Good evening, Nana.
Doc, what's your take on this issue where we are making, ills or wrong things seem normal and it's business as usual?
Thank you, my brother. It's a very important issue you have raised, and I have a very strong opinion on that.
Sure.
Why? Because as a society, we need to ensure that certain core values that are functional are maintained, and that for each generation, we should be in the position to assess and build upon, in other words, improve upon what we came to meet, and also leave the next generation a better world. So if we begin to normalize deviant behavior or anything that will not be functional, will not be useful, is not progressive, then we are in for trouble. Especially the world is moving at a pace that we cannot even fathom. Nobody can think of what will happen in the next 3 or 5 years in terms of technology and all that.
Yeah.
So we need a society that is very reflective, look at issue today, learn from history, and project forward. That is my initial statement.
Well, I mean, while I have you there, one of the difficulty I have is, you see, the young ones, I mean, nobody is born to know how government should work or what systems should work. We are born and then we pick up all this intelligence from our environment. So once they've come and the environment is already poisoned, how will they, break out of this quote unquote norm to write a new manual so that as they go forward, they don't repeat the mistakes we are doing?
Okay, so that's the more reason my initial one, I say history is critical.
Yeah.
History means where have we come from? Socially, what are some of the things that have not helped us? Politically, economically, and all that. But the major issues have been the family, the school, and the larger community. Unfortunately, the family that is supposed to socialize and orient us and inculcate in us the values that will enable us to build on what we have, somehow is disintegrating. Not only the extended, but the nuclear, because we seem to have given the excuse that economic conditions are so hard. So most parents wake up early in the morning, leave the home, go and struggle. They leave the children in the hands of house help, in the hands of the screen. And the screen here, I'm talking about television, handset, and anything. Again, the cultural aspect in terms of our community has also broken down. So we all live in a small corner, and it's about dufiasm, where the neighbor, the parent there, the adult, who in the olden days could have helped to properly socialize are not. At the larger body, we seem to perceive that the older generation, that's the perception, are doing ABC, and therefore we should also have our own way. So we need, especially like the media, to champion this. Because elsewhere, the media is the one that champions most of the issues. Because without them, we can't hear anything. Without them, we won't do anything. And if you look at some of the studies that have been done in Ghana by CDD, IE, and the rest, IDEC, most people have a strong trust for the media. So I think that the media houses like us you're doing should set aside days and times to speak to the youth in particular. Because as the youth, we or the youth have tomorrow as theirs. So they should be reflective. What is it that we can do to help our nation, to help ourselves, to help our community, so that in 20, 30 years, when we look back, we will know that we have done our contribute our quota. Let me emphasize that for every group of people, definitely there are going to be minority, very small, negligent population that are going to do the wrong thing. But if the majority are doing the right thing, we will be able to overcome. Maybe we can talk about some of the specific deviant behavior that you refer to as being normal, which I agree with you.
Well, Doc, one issue, you touched on tradition, you touched on, and so one thing that, well, also is the norm, is that the more we are educated, the more we are privileged to come to the lagoons, it's the further away we want to leave tradition. Then our grandmothers become witches. Then, the village is not even safe to go because of spiritual things. It's like the more we are educated, the more we are steeped into that belief.
Yeah, from my perspective, I think the reason is that we tend to imbibe the Western culture. I'm not saying it's wrong or right.
Okay.
But it's not everything about other people's culture that can fit. You know, we construct reality in our environment. Mm-hmm. We construct reality in our environment. So within our cultural and the ecosystem within here, what is it that we can do that will be beneficial? Let me give an example. It might be out of place, but still, like any analogy. Mm-hmm. We are building houses that we are using the sliding window. Very beautiful, colorful.
Yeah.
But Nana, I tell you, we are in what? A tropical zone and not temperate.
I agree.
So if you build the window is so small and you just drag one side, the open space for air and the sunshine is so small that you always feel warm. So if you want to louver blaze better, but if you want to go to the sliding door, then make sure that you do it such big so that when you slide one, it's sufficient for about 2 or 3 louver blades space.
Doctor,
but we look at that without contextualizing it. You see them everywhere, and sometimes you say, hey. So we need to look at, sure, education, because most of the books and all that are oriented towards the Western culture. But we need to think local and then project national. Doctor, what is it that will be useful for us?
Thank you. Thank you very much, Doc. But with this sliding window issue, I couldn't agree with you more. I have McCosby Anthony on the line. Hello, McCosby.
Hello, Nana.
Thank you very much for calling. Let me hear your take on this issue.
Yes, Nana. Good evening.
Good evening.
Well, when you hinted on the role of the politician, I smiled a bit. But let's examine something. Mm-hmm. It has become so normal these days that before one can stand for an election, you will spend not less than 500,000 cedis.
Yep.
Where are you getting that money from?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
By all means, you end up borrowing. When you win the election, you have to pay back, or you have to reap your investment. So development and other things can wait. Or you do a development and you charge the country so much because you have to reap your investment. The very Ghanaian who complain that the politician is so corrupt is the same Ghanaian that will queue in front of their houses, their homes, demanding, not taxing, demanding for money before they will vote for you. And after you are being voted into a position, every day one call after the other. Oh, this program, Oko program, not to work 10,000 ago. Papa, we didn't see more things. Oniska, politician, we didn't say anything. Oniska. So we have made it so like it is a daily routine. Mm-hmm. You go to the public office and request for a service. The public officer is being paid at the end of the month to serve you. Meanwhile, when you go and you ask for a service, that same officer will want you to pay them before they will serve you. That's why the likes of our passport office, DPLA, the various places that we go for essential services, we don't get any service from there. The government should do their best, putting systems in place for everyone to follow for the smooth delivery of services. And yet, the individuals, because of our selfish interest, to build our own net, to put up a house in prime areas, we will charge the individual. People have their documents and land submission, sitting down just for a director or someone to endorse that, oh, this land is in your name, or the title has been given to you. Oh, pass through the normal process, nobody will mind you. You have to grease palms every time. And we end up comparing ourselves with the Europeans and the Americans. They are so disciplined that everybody fears the law. Because when the law catches up with you in the wrong, you will pay so much fine that it discourages and deters everybody from doing the wrong thing. But here in Ghana, the law catches up with somebody. And we shall penny able to come to my police station. Oh, more functioning in the name of God, more functioning in the name of God. Meanwhile, this same God says that when you don't do the right thing, you go to hell. So who will beg on the behalf of someone who is going to hell? Nana, this is my small contribution.
It's very scary. It just tells you the number of things that we are considering as normal. I mean, it's like the whole country has adopted this culture of insanity and we just think it's normal. And it's so dangerous. I mean, look at the list. You know, politician, you know, borrowing money to come and run to serve you. You also going there demanding for money to vote for them, cutting both ways, and we just think, oh, this is normal. It's very dangerous. John Sterling is on Facebook, says, the new normal is a purposeful, orchestrated agenda to create a nation of haves and have-nots. Look at the schools our elected leaders take the awards to, and the school the masses will have to access. Alex General sends a message on Facebook, says, our leaders have just failed us. It's just simple. Our media is also to be blamed for projecting values that are not relevant. Eric Kofi Orban Hawkins, this is not a state of good, it's not a state of good lecturer who called, but the universities have become a haven for immoral behavior simply because deviant behaviors is celebrated. We have halls that are reputed for, hold on one second, reputed for setting anti-cultural mores, and our good lecturers are mostly unconcerned. Kwao Edward is on the line. Hello, Edward.
Nana, good evening.
Good evening, Edward.
Nana, it's been a while. I am actually not feeling well, but then I have decided to contribute to the development of this topic.
I'm grateful.
But Nana, you are doing very well.
Thank you.
Nana, this topic, which is about insanity in our system nowadays, is as a result of things that we have been advocating for several times. In fact, I remember some of your topics concerning how we should, in fact, nurture the generation, the youth. And what have the leaders done about this? When Nana is talking, they think maybe you come from your house and come and sit here and bring a topic for us to discuss. Maybe you just want to do what we call have a proper digestion. So Nana will just come and sit on the radio and start talking. But that is not what Nana is trying to achieve for the country. What Nana is trying to achieve for the country is that we should come out with a good people. We should try to build good people who will actually lead the country to the country's, in fact, for the country to achieve its goal. The goal that we are trying to say is that we want to build Ghana for Ghana to become a better place to be. So, Nana, let's continue to advocate what is good for the people. And I think one day they will give you your stone. And I believe that day is coming very soon. Thank you, Nana.
Very reassuring. Thank you very much. Nana Sewa Ampafu Brekatu says, I am watching. That's my Queen Mother from the Little Republic of Edumasa. Hema, thanks for tuning in. Anna Awiti says, well said, Nana, it's our individual and collective responsibility. We should all be ownership of the process. Please keep up the advocacy. One day we will get there. I met a gentleman yesterday, Joshua Otabel, a teacher at NIFA, and he says, Nana, change in itself is slow. So for all you know, change is happening. And I say, you know something, I want to see the significant part in my lifetime. And I know Joshua Otabel is also tuned in. Joshua, so greetings to the people of NIFA Secondary. But it's a very passionate, and it's one of those things where probably I could do part 1 to 100. Just take sector by sector by sector by sector. And you look at it and realize that no, this is not right. And I don't want to make too much direct comparisons, but if you compare to, you know, other states which are a bit progressive, you realize that things that they used to do 10 years ago, they either do it easier now, quicker now, more accessible now. It is done better now. Look, once upon a time I traveled to Heathrow and I used their Wi-Fi. Till date, as soon as I enter Heathrow, ping, Kwekusin team is a welcome to London, thinking, hold on. Still, I'm on the system somewhere. You know, so I mean, that's how come I'm saying that. And I think Dr. Riafi also said that the speed with which the world is moving, under no circumstance can you be going back home. Otherwise, we're going to leave all our children in complete captivity, and theirs will be a complete worse than what our forefathers were. I remember I did a show, and I said, you know, a young, you know, vibrant slave, you know, 400 years ago, equivalent was sold for $36,000. Today, the same young, vibrant man who wasn't even captured, who has walked across the desert, a ton of 400. I mean, come on. We must have a roundtable discussion. Our forefathers who were captured, chained up, dragged in the boat, door of no return, all that saga. He gets to America on the cotton field, and as a young built man, between $18,000 to $36,000. That's how much they were sold for. Today, that same young man runs to Benin, runs to Mali, walks across the desert, probably not even lucky, dies when we know to could do Libya. $400. Come on. We should have a roundtable discussion and ask ourselves, why? This cannot be normal. So you, the youth, you know, once upon a time, KSM said when they sing the song, he had the whole world in his hand, they were referring to God. Today, when you sing that song, it's everybody. Once you have a tablet phone, you have the whole world in your hand. You can Google and find out. So find our best practices. As soon as you hear anything, Google and find out. What does it do? What is the purpose? Anything, just, you are so blessed. You don't even have to go in the encyclopedia, in the library, in your palm. But 2 cities data from MTN, and you have access to the whole world. So Google and find out. And find out. How come the Prime Minister of UK has like a 3-car convoy? 3. And then the President of Ghana has like 20, 45 cars. Are they? Who bought it? Who's paying for it? And then when you turn up at school, egg, can't even buy you egg. You know, so these are the things that you have to sit down and say, no. There's something not right. And this manual that these people are going to leave us, we won't work with it. But unfortunately, you are also hooked up in my party is good, his party is good, my party. So you're unable to come together to say that no. We need a new normal which is not insane. A new normal which is full of sanity. How can we come and destroy all your waters and things for the water, life. We destroy it and we say it's normal. It's not. So I am still appealing, and I hope that you, the young ones who tuned in today, would reflect on it. Really reflect on it. Really reflect on it. I mean, today, you know, you have followers on Instagram, you have phone groups and everything. Come together and think about it. That one day when we are gone, one day when we are not here, I mean, what will be left for you? There must be sustainability. There must be sustainability. And for sustainability to happen, as a black man, because I strongly believe that every race has got this divine culture that is inherent in them from the divine maker. Ours is that everything we do, we must remember that there are people who are not born, and they should benefit from whatever it is that we are doing. Be it a decision, be it a plan, be it an execution, be it a sale, a contract. People who are not born should be able to benefit from it. Those who are alive today, they should also benefit from that decision. Folks, and the decision should be so clean and conscious that one day when you go and meet your maker and your elders before you, you can look at them and say, you know something? I planted more trees. I cleaned up the river. I gave them more doctors. They had more access. The ambulance could come. The ambulance response time dropped from maybe 20 minutes to 3 minutes. Police response time dropped from this. Crime rate dropped from that percentage to this percentage. I mean, these are the reports that you have to go and give. That when you were leaving, you know, there were 10 crimes a day. When I was leaving, now it's only 2 crimes a day. And then when those behind come, they say, now there's no crime. One, you go to your Nana Ansah say, the teenage pregnancy, more do I say 100,000? Really? 100,000 teenage pregnancy. That's the account you go and give your maker. Now, what did you do with the river? So you are saying in United say cuckoo. So those who are coming, what are they going to drink? We didn't even think about it. You see, so don't discount tradition as if it's all fetish. No, there was a reason behind it. And there must be sustainability. We must change. We just can't live as though when we leave, we're going to shut the door and say, game over. Let me say good evening to Joe and Nim. Thanks for tuning in. Akuya Dompre is watching. Oh, okay, that's my cousin. Good evening, cousin. Please, good evening. No, that's not a message for me. This one says, Nana, haven't you realized that it barely rains in Accra these days? The month of June, and we have less than 5 downpours. Soon Accra will become a wasteland and a desert. Why? Because we have massacred all our desert. But let me say a very, very, very special birthday to Mrs. Mary Ejapon. Beautiful birthday. And Sunday, they invited us, Mr. Ejapon of Highways, and Mrs. Mary Ejapon of the University of Social and Developmental and Social Studies. She's the registrar there and went for a birthday, and it was really, really wonderful. And one day I need to come and tell you about the University of Development and Social Studies. Amazing stuff they're doing. Going into the community and finding out opportunities there and enhancing it. Really wonderful. But happy birthday and happy wedding anniversary. 54-28. Fantastic. Well, 28 is the wedding anniversary, not the age. 28 was the wedding anniversary. But thank you very much for watching. And you know what? Next Monday, we'll be back to do this all over again. We'll find out. If there's no football, we'll be on radio. If there's football, we'll be back here, Facebook Live. But whatever happens, there will be an opinion. Thank you very much for watching.